first, what I would like to say that I started my day with some kind of fever, a sore throat, so excuse me if sometimes my voice is not that clear. I thank the Kongress media team for giving me some magic pills. I don't know what was in the pills, but I hope it will help me to survive until the end of this session. A second point is that, like Bjorn said, this is not something we are really discussing for the very first time. I remember we were already talking about ACM, bringing social into processes in 2010, or for some of us even before. But what's new today is that when you're talking about that, people seem to listen. 4 years ago, they were more likely to send you tomatoes on the stage and say, get out, social is not about process, and it's only about communities, engagement, and conversations. So I think the matter is becoming more and more mature now. So, who I am, so my name is Bertrand. I'm a digital transformation director at a French leading consulting company in this field, NextModernity. You have the address of my blog, my Twitter handle, and that's enough. So, first, from the social perspective, what are the issues we face today? I think that issue number one is that we are building clouds of knowledge, of engagement, of a huge potential, but we don't know when, how, and even if we'll be able to use it. Let me tell you a story that happened a couple of years ago, but still a recurring one. I was working for a client who was conducting a very important transformation program with a lot of very structured projects, activities, and because when we talk about social and process, it's not only about BPM and things like that. It's about anything that has more or less structure in business. So we started to help them with having, I think, a social echo chamber besides a big transformation project. At the end of the day, after 6 months or something like that, the head of project, the sponsor, came and said, okay, what did we made out of all this social stuff? The answer was nothing. He had a look at the community and he told us, wow, there are impressive stuff in there. I mean, ways to improve the way we drive the project, ways to make more money, way to save money. Why didn't we use that? Because the people that were managing the projects didn't have even a look at what's happening at the social side. Why? Because it was not embedded, because it was living their own life separately. So the problem with social today in the enterprise is that we have a lot of knowledge, a lot of potential to have a lot of people who are ready to do things together, but we never know when they will do it, if they will do it, if they will do it at the right time. No, you know, it's like we have clouds over the desert. We would like rain to drop where we want to make trees grow. That's what we're trying to do today. The second problem we have with social and structured activities is that for many employees, social is not their problem. They have something to do. When they wake up in the morning, they come to the office, they have tasks, they have goals, they have objectives, and they have something else besides. That's called social. And many of them still don't get how social will help them to do a better job, to achieve better results. And even those who understand it say, okay, I have a place to do my work, I have time to do my work, and I have time to collaborate, to share things, and that may even be useful to do my job. But it happens in different times, in different locations, in different applications. So it's way too many windows on my desk. It's very time-consuming. So I'm sorry, but I don't do that. My problem is not to be social. My problem is it's only to get things done. Just let me mention for those who are very process and finance-focused people. That's not something new, but this is a slide I really appreciate. It comes from Norton and Kaplan, the guys who invented the balance scorecard. A couple of years after the balance scorecard, they came up with a new concept they called strategy maps, because they realized that the balance scorecard concept didn't take into account all that's related to intangible assets. I mean, knowledge, information, and so on. And so they came up with this model. The only thing we have to learn from this model is that what you are doing with social is related to human information and organization capital. And the only way to leverage them to deliver tangible value is to use them in business processes. You can have the best organization, you best have the best experts. If no one leverages it, if the processes don't leverage it, you don't create any value. And in fact, all the money and the time you've invested to develop this side is wasted. So this is the same, correctly the same. So what the conclusion we came to, and that I think many businesses are discovering today, is that value is not on the business activity side, it's not on the social side, it's at the crossroad of social and business activities. But what the reality looks like today in many social projects, that's what I call the great divide. We have the production line, we have the water cooler, and we have a big wall between them. What we should do is to bring the water cooler back in the production line. I love this sentence from Ginny Rometty, that social is not the new water cooler, as it's been told for a couple of years. It's the new production line. In fact, I don't fully agree with her. Social is not the new. It's not about moving from the water cooler to the production line. It's about moving the water cooler to the production line. What's the concept of the water cooler? It's people having conversation, talking, and they learn things. And then when they are back at work, that they can use it or not. What it means is that they are not always allowed to use on the production line what they've learned at the water cooler because of management, because of the way work is designed. And not all the people can benefit from what's being said at the water cooler, because not everyone is going to the water cooler. So what we should do is to make sure that everything we learn at the water cooler can be used on the production line, and that anyone can benefit from what's being said and learned at the water cooler. So we come back to the title of this workshop, but it's not, in my opinion, aligning social with business processes. It's more a major, because when we have bad business processes that are not adapted to the situation, to what business really is today, making them social will only help to do wrong things, but faster and at scale. That's not what we're trying to do. What we're trying to do is to do the right thing in the right way. So it's not merging and improving business processes instead of putting social right behind business processes. So what are the challenges we face today? And then after we will see what does it really mean, and in fact after we will see what are the challenges. First, design work for barely repeatable processes. We are used to focus on what we call easily repeatable processes. In fact, we don't care about these ones today, because they have already been fully automated and no one has to deal with them anymore. What's left, and I think it was well shown in the previous presentation, is what matters today is barely repeatable processes that has much to do with case management and adaptive case management. I love this quote from Goldratt, who said, "We should not expect an application to work in environments for which its assumptions are not valid." The point is that the assumptions on which social software lies are not valid in the workplace today. You can use social solutions to do anything, but if the way work is designed in terms of delegation, in terms of decision making, in terms of autonomy, doesn't fit the assumptions of social media. We will still be doing things the old way with new tools that won't change. In fact, that won't change nothing. We should also design social for structured activities. In many cases, for many companies, what does social mean? Social means engagement, communities, a lot of people doing things in a very informal way, but it lacks focus. It doesn't only lack focus from the company perspective, it also lacks focus from a user perspective. I often hear users, employees saying, yeah, okay, this is great. I understand the potential of the tool, but when I am supposed to use it, when I am allowed to use it, to do what, to do it how and in which situation, that's still unclear. We have to help them build a kind of, I don't know, social routine to know what they should do in the context of their mission, of their work, of their day-to-day activities. Third concept is to bring social services in the context of business application and vice versa. Why I say social services? Because any good social platform today is not only a bunch of functionalities. It's also services you can use in another applications through APIs and things like that. How should it look like? I think all the vendors you will see on stage later will have their own way to demonstrate it. So I just started with a couple of screenshots I took here and there. It may be just bringing information from any social tool, any business process tool, put it in the activity stream and make it actionable in the activity stream. And so the business event is coming, it can be a subject of discussion, of collaboration, it can be shared, and it can be actionable in the context of the social application. You can also bring the social functionalities in the context of, in this example, a social project management tool. You can comment a task, you can collaborate around the task, and what will be said in the social project management tool will also be seen in the same way in the community that is related, the collaborative community that is related to the project in the social networking platform. And you can also, in the same example, when you are on your collaborative platform, you collaborate, you move forward, you solve problems, then you can change the status of your project, and then all the changes are reflected in the business tool. So what are the challenges we face? The first is that it's not about adding but transforming. Up to date, social has always been about adding a new layer above existing layers. So it was a problem from the user perspective because it was very time-consuming, but it was very comfortable for businesses that didn't have to change all the organization, the processes, and the structure they've been building for decades. So one more layer. Today, what we need is to change the structure. Management, reporting, business structure, business activities, business processes, and it's much more sensitive. It's something that is very touchy, and they really don't want to touch. They really don't want to change unless they admit it's really broken. Another point is measuring the impact. There's no better way to demonstrate a tangible ROI than bringing business activities and social activities together. Why? Because no one knows what to measure in some social activities, but we know what to measure in business activities. The length of a cycle, the amount, the volume of the output, and this won't change because this is what companies are designed for. But if we bring both together, we can measure the impact of social interactions on process delivery and execution. This is the good side. The downside of this point is that much people leading social initiatives don't want to measure. They are not people who love numbers. In fact, most of time, so it makes them very uncomfortable. Another point is we should focus on having managers adopt social not as average users but as managers. In social initiatives, we often consider that it's about building fat organizations. So we should we should consider managers as any user. So they are dealt with the same way. What we need is to help managers understand their role is changing as managers, and in the way they drive business activities, the way they design processes, the way they design the work of the staff, the way they measure, the way they organize the reporting and things like that. So it is a very important matter. Last matter is technology integration and open standards. Sometimes we often say that technology only accounts from 20% of the success of such initiatives, but this is the 20% that really matter. Sometimes you will have one vendor delivering all you have in the workplace. I mean, the email, the project management, the BPM, the HR, anything. But it's more and more unlikely to happen. The truth is that you will have, I don't know, part of your IT system from Microsoft, you will have something from Jive, something from IBM, something obviously for SAP on the process level, something from, and you will have to make all these things work together, make them interoperable. So what matters is that we need to avoid the long and expensive integration stuff we've known for legacy systems. So today, most of the industry leaders have adopted what we call open standards that help businesses to develop only the last mile between two applications. But obviously, one of the so-called leader of this industry refuse to adopt the standard, and it's for me it's a big problem. But the last challenge, is making sure that all the applications you have are compliant with the standard, so we can make your HR solution interact with the social network, interact with your social project solution, and so on. Yeah, thank you. If you have any question.
Thank you. So, are there any questions?
Yeah.
No, so everything is understood. So, there are different... There's a question. Oh, yes.
I have two questions, Bertrand. It's a very interesting talk. I missed your point 2 of the first thing. So I don't know if the slides are being...
the point of that.
The first point 2.
Let's go back.
No. The one before that.
Yeah. This one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's interested me as a statement. Can you expand on how that works? Because social in theory is this unstructured thing, and fitting it into structured activities. Are you going to lose some of the sort of nub of, or the richness of the social data, or do you just think it's easier to? Or sorry, do you think there's enough benefit from putting into structured activities?
My point is for the average user, and I've seen in a couple of reports that it's one of the biggest barriers to social adoption is purpose. What I am supposed to do, what I am supposed to do in this environment, what I am supposed to contribute to, and what for. And I think it's a matter of alignment. You know, just saying you can do anything you want in such environments, contribute, share, collaborate, and so on. But most people need a kind of focus. that one of primary activities, your goal is to do that. In fact, they know their goal. Their goal is, the job is how they are measured at the end of the day. But so how using this new kind of tool and interacting in a new way should contribute to my goals. I think it's really a matter of focus. It doesn't mean that you can do a bunch of other things, but the primary focus should be there.
So, as a synthese on your talks, would you say that to make social work in a process context, we need a deep integration of the process? So, not only on the level of informing people about the process within the social sphere, but also take actions, as you said.
There are really two sides. There is what I call the human side, that management, project management, and business process management should change as the way people who deliver, who run, who execute the process are managed as people. But the integration should also take place in the tools, technology, and environments that are used, because you can't say, I don't know, imagine we are a team working on a project, or I don't know, we are in this room, we need to deliver something, we have a problem, we have an issue, we need to fix something. We need to go in the other side of the building to another room where we can discuss, access knowledge, and then we come back here. It just makes no sense.
Okay, thank you, Bertrand.
Yeah.